Hi all, welcome to another episode of The Unfinished Human with me, Assis Resta. Today I'm going to share a personal story about me with you. Last night I had one of the most beautiful dreams in months. I dreamt about my mother. We embraced each other. We told each other how much we missed each other. And we just showered each other with love. I woke up feeling joyful, happy. Now, to some of you who know me, you know that I lost my mother unexpectedly in July 2022, and it is by far the most difficult moment of my life. I love my mother very much, and I still do. And the bond that I share with her is beyond this physical realm. Now, at the age of 4, I left house, not by choice, not that I was, that understanding of situations, but my mother tells me this, used to tell me this. I often, use present tense when I talk about my mother because I want to include her in my conversation. So forgive me if I do use the present tense in addressing her because she's still in my soul. So at the age of 4, as I was saying, I left house as my parents were on their entrepreneurship journey and they were struggling, but they did not want to compromise on my education. So off I went to my cousin's place, where I did not feel that I belonged. Obviously, I always waited for my mother or my dad to come and pay me a visit, right? At the young age, then I went to a boarding school. Before even I knew what was right, what was wrong, I went to a boarding school. Now, both in my cousin's place and boarding school, I felt that I did not belong. There were times where I was made to become aware, like for my, at my cousin's place, where I did not belong and I had to, that I had to go back to my own home, right? So already started living as a second class citizen. But the love that my uncle had for me was unconditional, and I'm so grateful for him. Unfortunately, he passed away quite early as well. In the boarding school, definitely I was not one of the coolest kids with lots of friends, and you do get bullied at times and made known that you don't belong as well, right? But again, I'm thankful for a handful of friends that I had in school, and I wish them well. Having gone through these stages of my life, one of the things I started building was resilience, the endurance, right? I became so self-contained that I did not need somebody else's company. I needed my own company. I became so used to staying alone. I became so used to just living with my thoughts. I was my best friend. And whenever I used to go home in winter holidays or during festivals like Dasai Tihar, which is for non-Nepalese, it's like Christmas in Nepal, I used to cherish every single moment, every single minute with my parents, particularly my mother. I was glued to her, right? Perhaps because leaving house at that age of 4, I always yearned to spend time with her. So the good thing on the back of it was I started spending quality time. I did not have quantity, but I had quality time with my mother. And this little that I know became my strength when she passed away. So I used to cherish these moments. I used to be glued to my mother, and she was my best friend. I used to confide to her. One of the things that people don't talk about grief is when you want to hear the voice of someone that you lost, when you want to feel that someone you lost, that is tough. That is very, very painful, right? But these moments that I shared with my mother when coming home in winter holidays, when coming home during festivals, or when she came to pay me a visit whenever she could, those moments are my golden moments. Even now, when I swing in this state of grief, I remind myself, I come back just remembering those moments. And I'm really proud to say that I don't have any regretful moment with my mother. Every time I used to connect with her, we did it so genuinely. It was so unconditional. It was so unselfish. It was not tied to anything but that pure love that we shared. Now, obviously, when she passed away, I had this deep pain in me. And why would I not have that pain? Because she was the one who taught me what love was. She was the one who was the first person to bring happiness in my life. She was the one who brought joy to my life. Her one side would bring joy to my life. So when her physical absence was gone, that was felt. But all her life, she worked. She worked to bring joy, happiness, and abundance of love in my life. And I used to call her every single day, no matter how busy my life was. I used to call her every single day. And we two would be like children. And there were times where we cried together for being apart for so long, but we used to find comfort in each other. So I don't have any regretful moment with my mother. Why am I sharing this with you today? Look, we're in the new year, 2026, right? We make all sorts of resolutions, but this year I'd like you to do different. Don't make any resolutions, but I ask you to cherish these small moments, create these small moments, record it in your memory, in your phone, whatever it is, right? Because these small moments are the biggest moments. We're just passing through this stage of life. So cherish these small moments, for we never know that these are our very big moments, right? If I hadn't cherished those small moments with my mother, I think I would be a lot more miserable at the moment. So this year in 2026, I send you warmth, I send you appreciation, I send you joy. But instead of making any kind of resolution, all I ask you to do is spend that moment with yourself. Be self-compassionate. Spend time with the ones that you love. Create those small moments. It does not need to be anything bigger, right? And yeah, be yourself. Because for these small moments are the golden moments that can become savior at times when you feel low, alone, and going through the challenges and pains and suffering in the life, right? Thank you very much for listening to me, and Happy New Year.